Now, a lot of you that clicked on this video due to the thumbnail and that catchy headline, you're probably wondering, oh, who the hell's this jackass with a stupid looking popsicle stick? Where are the informers? Where are the people reporting the truth about the power of the PS5? They're working at Sony. That's where they are. They're not here on YouTube. They're not giving out leaked info to nobodies. But more importantly, they're not doing their job of dismissing any false rumors or hype. Anyways, you're probably going to click off the video now that you've caught on to what this video is actually about. I just wanted to test out the Colt Eastwood clickbait practice. You know, putting something in the headline to catch people's attention and click and get their confirmation bias. But the truth is, neither you, nor I, nor anyone on YouTube actually knows what the PS5 is going to be like. The most we have are rumors spread by other YouTubers. But why would they spread rumors? Well, if you think about it, if you can extend a video to 10 minutes long, you can riddle it with ads. And then, once the video's over, you collect your money and you ride off into the sunset. In other words, they do it for the fucking money. Dealer Gaming, Colt Eastwood, Foxy Games UK, Crap Gamer. None of these guys have insider knowledge about the Xbox or the PlayStation. All they are is propaganda channels. All they do is feed into the hype machine, and when what they said isn't true and the rumors are debunked, they'll spend the next following years defending those rumors. And a lot of people are gullible out there. A lot of them are, alright? There's nothing wrong with being gullible. We're all human. I don't think there's anything wrong with being hyped about hardware or your favorite console getting an upgrade that could quite possibly be PC level. You know, we all like to live in a fantasy land. Nothing wrong with that. What is wrong, however, is when rumors like that get into the hands of people who really don't know about hardware, but have a following and have the ability to inform others. And that's why we are talking about Dreamcast Guy. He's a really nice person. He's not cancerous or toxic like me, that's for sure. See, I don't do anything for this platform. I piss people off. They get really mad at me. Dreamcast Guy, on the other hand, makes content that people want to watch. But the difference between me and Dreamcast Guy is my assholeness and my toxicity allows me to be more verbal and open with others and tell them to their face when they're being stupid. It's almost a lost art. Here on YouTube, we have to be professionals. We all have to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. We can't be like, hey, jackass, you're being a stupid fucktard. Ah, man. It's like nobody here grew up being talked to like a jackass. See, I grew up with a family. At the dinner table, we'd be calling each other's jackass, fat ass, dumb ass. I can't think of any more ass words. You know, you said something stupid at the dinner table, you'd spend the next hour eating your food while they'd be like, look at this dumbass. Before mom would be like, van a verlo, voy a agarrar mi cinto, les voy a dar una cachetada. Oh, good times, man. Good times. See, that's the kind of toxicity I grew up around. It's useful. It makes you stronger. It allows you to not hold back with the goddamn truth. So let us go over exactly what's wrong with Dreamcast Guy's video. But one quick thing for those of you that do view me on a daily or weekly basis. I now have my Twitch account ready and set up for streaming video games. So if you guys want to, you can go ahead and follow me over there on Twitch, where on a weekly basis I'll stream something. Everything else, however, that's response-based will stay here on YouTube. But if you want to follow me to see how bad I am at video games, then Twitch is the place to do it. Anyways, Mr. Dreamcast Guy, the mic is all yours. What? Don't judge me.
Last night, I was actually contacted by a PlayStation employee
Fucking bullshit!
who's currently playtesting the PS5, and they revealed a lot of very interesting details to me that I want to actually talk to you about today.
Nobody in the industry would do this, okay? You are naive. You were duped, trolled, and tricked into believing that person even got their hands on a PS5. Nobody, not a single developer, can really say anything. So the fact that an employee, an official employee of Sony came to you and told you all of this is even more unbelievable because their job would be on the line. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of that is Sony's fault. How is it Sony's fault? Well, Sony's not doing anything to combat these rumors. They're basically getting free advertisement for their console. If someone tells you, oh, it's gonna be running games at 8K, even though there's a high probability that the support for native 8K may come in the form of Netflix or movie streaming in general, Sony's not going to come out and tell you this. They need the hype. They need the rumors. It helps sell their units. And a lot of people are taking advantage of the fact that Sony's not coming out and shutting down these rumors. They are taking advantage to get some clout, to build a viewership and an audience, to make money, or to simply troll others who don't know about hardware. And that's where you come in, my friend.
Please consider this all as rumors right now. I was able to confirm this person's identity pretty concretely, and it seems like it's all completely legit, but there are just some things about it that are not 100% right. So just definitely take this with a huge grain of salt and think that maybe this is all crazy misinformation. But some of this stuff actually aligns pretty closely with some other leaks, and to me gets me very, very excited.
Now this part of the video really confused me because you were telling everybody to take everything with a grain of salt, and yet at the same time, you try to cite your source as an official employee of Sony or PlayStation. You were giving yourself a get out of free jail card here, but it was revoked the minute you said you got in contact with an official employee of Sony.
Well, according to my source, some of the games they're testing right now, a lot of them are very, very early on, of course. There's not a complete PS5 game.
You're trying to cite your source without actually citing your source. You aren't showing the conversation you guys had, screen caps of it, or linking to it, which is fair because it's a DM, and there could be some NDA issues, but you could have still blurted out the name, but you aren't showing us sources.
But some of the stuff that they're actually running on there is actually hitting native 8K. This is a very, very big deal. Even if you're one of those gamers that's like, bro, I don't even care about graphics. It's still important because it means it's just basically a display of how strong this hardware actually is. So how are they able to hit this off? Well, it's only on certain games to start with.
Games running at native 8K. Even looking at the PS5's rumored specs, that just doesn't seem possible. Not even with the current generation of games, or maybe even the last generation of games. It just doesn't seem possible. Theoretically, you can hit 8K if a game was to look like, Minecraft, or Don't Starve, or Battle Block Theater. Theoretically, yes, games could run at native 8K, but he can't name you a single game running on the system at 8K. Your source is not very credible at this point if he can't pinpoint you the games. If he can't even explain to you how the hardware is doing it. There's a lot of bullshittery here.
He was pretty clear to say that it's not going to be like giant open world games. If there's like dragons breathing fire on top of a castle and stuff, that's not going to be 8K. Instead, that stuff will be like a good strong 4K, but other things like racing games or corridor shooters, those things will actually be able to possibly hit 8K
natively.
And the way this is done is because it has
14 teraflops
of CPU power inside it. This is a lot of computing, and to give you a little bit of perspective, keep in mind that the PlayStation 4 Pro has 4.2 teraflops. So this is like 3 times stronger, which is a pretty significant leap.
A good, strong 4K? What does that even fucking mean? Does he mean native 4K? Does he mean checkerboard 4K? And then other games will be in 8K? Simplistic games, not open world games? He can't name you a single game running at native 8K. He can't name you them. If he can't name you a game running at 8K, we don't really have anything to go on. And then you go for the teraflops. Teraflops are simply a measurement of computing power. They are not the end-all be-all of measuring performance. They give you a good idea of the power that's to come with these consoles, but in the end, results matter. Benchmarks matter. We don't have any of those. It's just irritating, because when you see pre-built PCs, or when you see Nvidia promoting their next GPU, they will not use teraflops as a selling point to their cards or to these pre-built PCs. Because most people out there that know a little bit about hardware would know you don't go based off of teraflops.
Now, it's not as big as some people may think, simply because remember that the jump from 1080p to 4K is 4 times the resolution. Here's like an infographic to try and display that. It's a pretty big leap, so trying to go from 4K to 8K is another significant gap. This is partially assisted by the fact that the PS5 apparently has 16 gigabytes of RAM inside it.
This is partially assisted by the fact that the PS5 apparently has 16 gigabytes of RAM inside it.
Ah, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you are talking about. You are taking information and having very little knowledge over hardware. You'll just regurgitate what was told to you without knowing, without having a lick of knowledge about how hardware works or the importance of each piece of hardware. I mean, can you even explain to us exactly how that 16 gigs of RAM will equate to 8K? What the fuck does the RAM have to do with reaching 8K? Can you explain that to us? Does your source even tell you how it will work? How the PS5 will compensate and hit 8K? He literally told you it's gonna have 14 teraflops, 16 gigs of RAM. Here's the thing, right? I don't have a problem believing that the PS5 can do native 4K. But the thing is, what exactly would RAM do to achieve that? How's that thanks to 16 gigs of RAM?
It's got nothing to do with, aside from textures, it's got fuck all to do with RAM.
Okay. That's what I thought! That's what I thought!
No, seriously.
That's why I was asking you, because I was sitting here like, I'm pretty sure RAM has nothing to do with
Well, I mean, it does have a certain amount to do with it, but I mean, you could run the game on a 1060 with 3 gigs of RAM at 2160p, as long as you're not loading in textures, because those textures get stored in the RAM to be accessed more quickly, right? So, and the textures are basically what smooths out the different portions of what you see.
Yeah.
Something that was said again and again during my talks with this person is that cost was definitely on the table. It seems like they're trying to do everything as cheaply as possible, and also it seems like they're trying to cut a lot of special deals with a lot of these companies to make sure when they get the parts, they can get them for just pennies, to try and get them for the lowest cost. That way the console itself isn't going to be like $500 or $800, because let's face it, nobody's buying an $800 PS5. I don't care how good the graphics are.
Are you being serious with me right now? Did you actually think this was newsworthy and groundbreaking exclusive news? That companies negotiate with hardware companies to get cut deals so that they can get them to an affordable price range? This isn't newsworthy. This isn't even speculation. This is common knowledge. This has been happening for years. This isn't new. It's not exclusive info. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about if you think this was even worth bringing up.
Now, something else is, something I've actually heard about and speculated on in previous videos is the idea of a solid-state drive being inside it, an SSD. Well, this has now been confirmed by my source. But what's funny is that the prototype PS5s, and there's actually multiple versions of it, all of them are running with 256 gigabytes of solid-state memory just to try and save cash right now. Now, when it actually comes out, apparently they're trying to cut deals to make sure that it can have 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes in it, but the general idea is that they're trying to get the cost as low as possible, and right now the technology for solid-state hard drives is getting easier to create, so by the time this console releases next year, it'll be a much more affordable state.
That was confirmed like a while back. Your source wasn't the first one to get his hands on this info. Sony's gonna have some type of exclusive SSD in their PS5 that's supposed to make games render super fast. And the way they prove this is by showing us a last-gen game running on it. Gee, who would have thought? last-gen games running faster on an upgraded console with an SSD. Either way, it's completely possible that Sony is once again innovating and making their own unique tech and making it exclusive to their hardware. They did it with the PS3 with the Blu-ray player. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Probably one of the few credible things about the PS5 that I actually believe. But no, your source didn't confirm this.
Now let's talk for a second about those multiple prototypes, because this is perhaps where the information gets the most confusing from public notes, other leaks, and what this means right now.
In other words, this is where the real bullshit starts.
So something we've actually seen in the news here and there is the fact that Mark Cerny, he's actually the guy who's the head of the PlayStation 4 development and now the head of the, basically the engineering and development team of the PlayStation 5. Mark Cerny has actually talked about AMD Navi processors, working with Navi architecture. Basically, this is like the style of stuff that's going to be inside the next console.
The style of stuff. Holy fuck, you have no clue what you're talking about.
Well, this was not said at all by my source. I heard about things like possibly an AMD Radeon processor. I've heard a lot of stuff about different CPUs and GPUs being put in this, but the main console he was talking to me about actually had NVIDIA tech in it. NVIDIA tech in it.
NVIDIA tech in it. NVIDIA tech in it. NVIDIA tech in it.
No! No! Stop! No! Oh. It was at this point in the video that I kind of figured out all by myself that you got duped. And I'm pretty sure most of the people who watched this video at this point realized you got duped. Because if you knew what you were talking about, if you knew anything about tech, anything about hardware, if you were keeping up to date with the real info being leaked about the PS5, you would know Nvidia was nowhere near the realm of possibility. It was practically confirmed that it would all be AMD architecture. Hell, I can't think of the last time Nvidia ever had any association with consoles aside from the Switch. But the fact is that this was already confirmed and known well before your source came to you with this bullshit. And this is where I want to stop replying to your video and basically go on my little preachy rant. Console rumors, tech rumors are the cancer of the industry. Well, one of the cancers. If I had to pick and choose which cancer tech rumors would be, I'd say it's bone marrow cancer, because it starts and spreads. Well, actually all cancer does that. Fuck, I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything about cancer. What I can tell you is people spend months, hell, even up to years, speculating on the potential power of an upcoming console generation. They will feed you propaganda, they will pull shit out of their ass without knowing a thing about hardware, and then others will pick up on their bullshit and regurgitate that bullshit, and then it carries on and on. Everybody suddenly becomes a tech expert. Everybody suddenly thinks they know shit about hardware. We saw this with the PS4 Pro, we saw it with the Xbox One X, we saw it with the Switch, and when people end up being wrong, nobody goes back, looks at the bullshittery, and realizes, hey, maybe we should stop talking out of our ass. Maybe we shouldn't be feeding into the hype beast. Maybe we shouldn't be giving Sony and Microsoft, Nintendo, AMD, or Nvidia any free marketing. Because ultimately, that's exactly what this is. This video isn't to mock Dreamcast guy, this video isn't even to mock console fanboys. This video is just to point out the bullshit that happens with rumors and console speculations, and hardware speculations. I mean, do you remember how everybody was about Vega? It seems like nobody learns their lesson, and that's why I point to people like Foxy Games UK. You think this guy actually has insider knowledge with the PS5? Of course he doesn't. He has about as much knowledge on the console as I do. Let us wait for the release of this hardware. Because even when the consoles are demoed to us, it's complete bullshit. Do you remember when we were given a supposed demo on the Xbox One X and it turned out to be a PC actually running the game? It's best to wait for the full release, have the tech experts get their hands on it, run benchmarks, and tell you what's actually going on. what resolution's actually being put out, what the performance is across the board, how big of a leap it actually is in terms of power. It's no doubt that these consoles are a massive leap from what we currently have. And that's really all that matters, because what we have now was so far behind that even at launch, it was a joke. Consoles are moving to modern day architecture. It's about fucking time. But the rumors going into it are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Don't buy into it. Let this video be a lesson to us all that it's best to fucking wait. Anyways, that's all I have to say. I think I want to take a break from responding to all this peasantry. I need something else to do with my life. Something that doesn't revolve around spanking people. For now, anyway. Until then, I'll be seeing all of you and your gorgeous, sexy faces very soon.
Fritanga sucks ass.